Rust. So, what is rusting? Rusting is the loss of metallic properties due to oxidation and forming of other unwanted byproducts. Metals such as copper, iron, and aluminum are all corrode and rust, which causes the metals to lose strength, durability, luster, and conductivity of electricity. The actual rust is the reddish-brown flakes formed that adheres onto the metals. We can commonly see this type of rust in any type of metal that is exposed to water without any anti-rust paint. These are some images of how rust looks. Rusting happens when iron and other metals are exposed to water and oxygen. Therefore, iron, water, and oxygen are the prerequisites for rust to happen. So, how does this happen? The chemical equations above are the steps that how rust is formed. So to simplify the equations above, when the water gathers on an iron object, two things happen immediately. First, the water on the iron mixes with the carbon dioxide in the air and forms carbonic acid, which acts as the electrolyte in the reaction. An electrolyte is a liquid substance which acts as a medium to conduct electricity, or electrons in this case. As the acid is formed, the iron starts to dissolve, and the water breaks down into its two components, which are hydrogen and oxygen. Then the freed oxygen fuses with the dissolved iron to form iron oxide, or what we simply call rust. In this process, electrons are freed and are transferred to the cathode, which is another part of the iron. So mainly there are no advantages that could be found for rusting. However, on the other hand, there were many disadvantages for rusting. When oxidation occurs in metals, rust is formed, which leads to the weakening of metal bonds that eventually leads to gradual disintegration of the metal, also weakening the metal's electrical conductivity. Rust also shortens the life of any metal objects and leads to the malfunction of machinery by making the rusted metal not to slide well, and definitely makes things look bad with its ugly reddish brown hue. Rusting also plays a big and both detrimental role in today's economy, since it is directly linked with the degradation of iron-based tools and structures. Rust is also very dangerous in today's industries because it has several direct negative effects which lead to the shutdown of industrial power plants. The rust has led to several shutdowns, causing costly replacement of corroded equipment, contamination of products, and damage to other adjacent equipment. The costs for fixing the equipments are high, which cause a big economic loss for factories and both for personal property. For social factors, rust has also been a social issue and is known as the disease of metals. Rust has made some structures crumble to pieces because rust has a larger volume than the iron itself. Therefore, it often led to the collapse of structures by forcing apart the metal pieces that were supposed to be attached to each other. There has been several accidents because the rust pushed apart the adjacent parts. First example is the Kinzua Bridge in Pennsylvania, which collapsed after a weak tornado passed through because the bolts holding the bridge together had been loosened due to the rust. Adding on to that, on 1967, the Silver Bridge over the Ohio River suddenly collapsed because of its weak foundation due to rust and killed 46 lives and cost $9 million to repair and reconstruct. Rust can also lead to other social issues, such as safety, if sudden failure leads to explosion, fire, and etc. It can also threaten our health by leading to leakage of toxic materials. Here are my citations, and thank you.